Boom. What is up, everybody? How we doing? How we feeling? Welcome to another episode of the Final Vibe podcast. My name is Kevin Reap. I will be your co-host. Alongside me, Andrew White.
Hello, hello. It's good to be here.
Yeah, we're excited. Another episode. The last episode was just you and I. I think people enjoyed that episode, but I know that they're itching to actually have a guest. We're excited to actually have a guest with us in studio again for episode 8. With us today is Rachel Stuck. Rachel, how are you?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Good. We're happy to have you. Rachel, you are a data analyst for
Yes.
MU Healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
and you have recently earned your master's degree. Is that correct?
Yes,
Cool.
at
So-
MU.
At MU. So we have a lot to talk about in that regard, and we'll touch on what it's like to be in the industry that you are in such a strange time for that industry. What it was like to get your master's degree. Now, when did you actually receive that?
I got it in May,
Just
the
in
end of
May.
May. Mm-hmm.
Did
Okay.
you throw a huge party?
My friends did. They're really great.
Was it super fabulous?
It was so fun.
Did you social distance?
Yeah, actually, I think we did. We were all pretty well spaced out.
Good.
In our
Yeah, that
friend's
was-
lawn.
You have to, because if you say that on the podcast, people are going to give
Yeah,
you
yeah.
flack.
No worries.
That was one heck of a time to throw a celebration, I would imagine. May. And you did your dissertation via Zoom. Is that right?
Yes. There's a couple funny stories about that.
We-
I don't know
oh,
if you want to hear them,
I wanna
but
we want to hear them.
We
Okay.
definitely want to hear them.
right now or later.
Let's just jump right into it. Hit us with the stories. We'll get to know you a little bit first.
Well, we could start by saying this. Let's get the basics out of the way. Rachel, how old are you?
I'm 26.
You have a birthday next
Yes.
week.
Yes.
That's exciting.
So exciting.
We were just
Actually, I
talking-
guess it'll be the day this airs. It'll be my birthday. Tuesday?
Oh, no way. Yeah.
Nice.
Way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this right now, wish Rachel a happy birthday in your head. If you're
That's-
driving to work,
It's fun.
say, happy birthday, Rachel. So tell us what it means, first of all, to be a data analyst. We'll kind of unpack your profession a little bit, and then we'll jump into the details of your dissertation and all that. But what does it mean to be a data analyst?
Yeah, so that's actually a super loaded question.
Oh, boy.
It's kind of like there's a lot of different facets to it. A lot of people think, oh, well, not a lot of people. Some people think, okay, data, that means artificial intelligence, which is a component of data science, but not the whole. Like, it's just one part. So, like, that's a facet. It also means collecting data. So, like, I work in healthcare, so all my data that I work with is around like patients and patient satisfaction or just anything you can think of. Like I work on the inpatient side, so think about if you get admitted to the hospital and you have like a team of doctors caring for you and they give you medicine, they order x-rays, they order CT scans. There's a data point associated with every single thing that happens to you in the hospital. And so that's the data that I look at basically to drive improvement at MU Healthcare, because if they didn't know like what they were lacking in, they wouldn't know where they needed to improve. Or if they were just like, oh, I feel like this department isn't doing a good job, but they had no data to back that up, the department would be like, why
Yeah,
do
you
you
can't
feel
fire
like
us.
that? Yeah.
You can't fire us without data.
Yeah. Or like making gut decisions versus data-driven decisions.
Yeah, we
like,
shouldn't make
that's not
decisions
good.
based on our gut.
Do you know how long this level of data has been collected and analyzed to the level that you do it at?
I don't know exactly how long, but I know like it's a relatively recent field. I was just reading an article the other day that like within the last 10 years, even data has grown obviously exponentially. Like 10 years ago, big data could be considered a few thousand megabytes, and now we're up to like a zettabyte, which is so hard to even comprehend. Like
Sure.
Facebook does zettabytes of data a day, if that's any scale. And we're like the hospitals may be at a terabyte of data.
Do you already see decisions that are being changed because of the level of data that we are now receiving?
Absolutely. Like that's a huge part of my job is tracking what changes over time and using like the data that we collect to see how things are changing. So for example, right now I'm on a project where we're looking at patients who have pneumonia, and they've been tracking these patients for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years now. And so they look at their mortality, so how often they're dying, how often they're being readmitted within 30 days of discharge. And it's like really cool to see, okay, they took this intervention here and they're tracking that intervention and they're watching like their numbers go down and get better and better. So it's really cool, like, to see what the data is actually doing and how it's helping.
Right. That's actually making a difference. And you get to see that probably more so than a lot of other people
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Does that mean you're vegan?
No.
No correlation to
Definitely not
veganism.
vegan.
Rachel, how much protein do you eat per day?
Not enough. I know that.
Sure. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, on a day-to-day basis, maybe that's a better question to ask too. What do you do on a day-to-day basis? Because when I hear data analyst, I hear this very zoomed out term, and I think you gave a great explanation of what it is. But when you go into work each day, what does it look like?
Mm-hmm. Also a good question. So there's also a range of things. So like, I guess the simple end of the range would be a provider coming up or emailing me or whatever saying, Rachel, I need a list of all my patients who have COPD who were readmitted unplanned within 30 days of discharge. And that's like a relatively simple task, might take an hour. I pull the data.
So you pull the data?
Yeah, I query. There's a huge database that we have. Like, throw in the query exactly what you want with all your inclusions and exclusions. Throw the results into like Excel, which sounds so old school. Like, who uses Excel? I use it every day. Just throw it into Excel, send it back to the provider. They'll have like 10 follow-up questions, but whatever. So that's one thing. But then there's other things like that are more project-based. So like I was talking about that pneumonia project, there's 12 of those going on throughout the year on like different patient conditions. So like pneumonia, sepsis, heart failure, like pretty big issues that the hospital wants to do a good job at. And then, like I mentioned, like machine learning and artificial intelligence, sometimes they'll ask for, like, build me a model that's going to predict what patients aren't going to show up to their cardiology appointment so that we can double book that appointment and have less no-shows. So that's kind of the intense side. It's fun.
Sure.
I like doing this.
Do you get a follow-up to see how well you've done and how many people were really mad because there was another appointment at the same time?
We do track like the double books and things like that. I try to always, like, I'm not going to push a model out unless the accuracy is at least 90%.
Sure.
Because, and even that, you can spend all this time building a model and have no way to deploy it into the electronic medical record, and it's worthless. So half the battle is like actually deploying the model into the system that we use.
All right, I'm going to try to translate everything you just said for anyone who has no idea what that means.
Dumb it down.
So when you say deploy a model, you mean put into action a system of data collection that's designed to teach you something.
Yeah, or that's designed to predict an outcome.
Okay, predict an outcome.
Yeah.
I need to be smarter.
This is
No.
This is like the cleaner version of what the guy does that does it for airline industries, right? Because they do the same thing, double booking seats. Interesting.
So hold on, what does this double booking thing mean? You're literally talking about people who just don't come to their appointments.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say double book, does that mean you like...
So like you schedule a different patient at the same time. So like let's say the model is going to predict this patient isn't going to show up based on like their history of not showing up, or they live far away, or they have like compliance issues. I don't know.
Depending on what kind of hat they wear.
Yeah, just the kind of person that they are. There's like 15 different factors, I think.
Ooh.
Anyway. And so, the system will automatically schedule another patient so that the doctor isn't wasting time. And
this is exciting. So you're kind of like are you kind of like a mad scientist? A little bit.
Kind of.
Do you feel like a master manipulator?
No, I mean, in a way, just honestly, because I have access to like any piece of information that I want ever.
Yeah. Are you able to implement any of these principles into your own daily life outside of work?
Oh, yeah.
Where you know like when the best time to go to the grocery store is? Or, like
Not that, but I built my own model for the housing market because I really want to buy a house. And so like I look when the best time to buy a house would be. It was so nerdy.
No, that's awesome.
I stayed up till like 1 o'clock in the morning one night and just made it.
Okay, hold on. This model word. Is it like an Excel sheet thing?
No. So to build a model, you have to write code. So like
casual.
Yeah. To you, if I said the word Python, you would think a snake, but like
that's because a Python's a snake.
Yeah. But to anybody in like computer science, Python is a coding language. I don't know. Have you heard of Python?
I have students that study Python.
Okay.
Would you say it's similar to Parseltongue?
I don't even know what that is.
People listening will get it.
They're laughing still.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like you write this code that's going to produce this model to predict whatever outcome.
But in what
or-
program though?
What do you mean? What
I don't know. Like
program?
maybe I'm asking all the wrong questions, but you say you write code in what?
There's different environments you could say that you write code in. So like it's called Jupyter Hub. I feel so dumb because nobody's going to know what this
No,
means.
but that's what we're learning. We're learning.
Yeah. So
That's the whole point.
There's like a variety of different, just whatever fits your fancy, I guess. Like,
So it's complicated.
yeah.
Yeah, we
But
don't
Python
need to know
is
that.
the language that most people write in.
That's amazing. Kevin, do you know
Yeah.
about code?
No, I know I can make a link using HTML.
Okay, nice.
Let me say this. For my job, I work in, it's like an events database. And if you do like the /BR,
Oh, you get
other
a break?
side of carrot, you get a
Line
break.
Yeah, line
yeah. So
breaks.
like whenever, like the words go to the next line.
Those are
Mhm.
fun.
Get
Yeah.
on my level.
HR will
I'm
give you a
actually-
horizontal line, which is another.
No, wait, are you serious?
Yeah,
I will
And
actually use that if you're,
put it in the
if you're
brackets.
serious.
You do HR.
Brackets, HR, capital?
Is it brackets? No, it's the.
I'm horrible at HTML. That's like, I don't know what to do.
That's super interesting.
Let's.
Let's press more into this idea of collecting data and how it impacts your life outside of work. So
Mhm.
you made a model. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
You made a model for tapping into the housing market. Tell us more about that. Like, what's that like?
Well, so I just got my master's, and my first year of grad school obviously was pre-COVID, so it was like super different. We had this 1 week where like the program was all online. So we had 1 week where the whole cohort came to MU, and so it's like students from all over the place, blah blah blah. And one of my like friends who was in my cohort was like, "Yeah, I built like this model around my budget so I would know what time of the year I spent the most money." I was like, I never thought that, like, since I ended up really liking like computer science and data analysis and stuff, I was like, I should do something that I actually care about. And at the time, I was really set, like, I'm going to buy a house because it's just time. Like, I want to buy a house. And so I was like, well, I want to know when the like perfect time is to buy a house. And so I just like, I had to do some web scraping, which is essentially pulling data from the internet, like realtor.com, Zillow and stuff. And I just like pulled in interest rates and housing prices for around Columbia and used like some historical data to look at interest rate trends and housing pricing trends and things like that.
Let's touch on the master's degree that you've recently
Mhm.
received from the University of Missouri. What was that actually in? What did you
So
study?
data science and analytics was the title of the program. Like I said, it was all online.
Makes sense.
Yeah. 5 semesters long. I did it while I was working full time, which was fine.
How was the hustle?
It was good. Like, you mean working during the day?
Yeah, I just mean, working full time and doing school on the side.
Yeah.
I'm sure it
It
wasn't
was,
5
super
semesters
easy.
is a lot.
yeah. It was hard, but luckily at the time, 2 of my best friends, they were also in grad school. And so, like, every Thursday night, we were at Lakota, a coffee shop here in town, doing homework. And I was like, okay, if they're here studying, I can be here studying too and getting all my homework done.
There
So
you
it was
go.
really nice to have people like doing the exact same thing I was.
That's a really good point, Kevin.
It is. They say that you're like you are as productive as the 5 people you spend the most time with. So
Yeah,
that's a good tidbit of
believe it.
information.
You become the average of your company.
Yeah.
Yeah, for people who are looking to start graduate school, they should find some friends that are doing the same thing.
Yeah, I could not have done like there were so many nights where it's 8:30 and I was like, I'm tapping out. But then I look at the table and both of them are like typing away and I was like, okay, if they're still here, I can stay here too and keep working on stuff.
I like that. What's your Lakota order? Surely you didn't just squat. You didn't go in there and not pay for anything, did you?
No,
Thank
I
goodness.
get really annoyed when people go into places.
Isn't that the
Either
worst?
to just use a bathroom or just to study. Like living in a college town, I see it all the time.
Yeah.
I always get mochas. I've got a soft spot in my heart for mochas.
Lakota also has the best iced chai tea
Really?
in town.
I'm not a big iced coffee girl.
Their chai is unique. It's less coffee. And
Didn't you say
more-
tea?
It's like a tea, but not really. An iced chai is more of a
Well, are you a nice tea gal?
milk-based.
I do like iced tea, but I don't like chai. I'm kind of picky.
What is chai?
I don't even know. It's like It's kind
that
of like
from the
pumpkin
Himalayas?
spice, right?
Geez, I don't know.
I'm
You can-
pretty sure it's from the Sherpa people.
Maybe you can have a chai tea that's really gross, and you can have a chai tea that has milk in it from a place like Lakota or Panera. That's delicious.
Mm.
Fair.
Yeah, I the one time I went to Lakota, I got the.
You've only been there one time?
I've only been there one time.
Why? It's so good.
Yeah, I've never been a coffee shop person. I don't have anything against them.
Mhm.
I think they're cool, but I don't know what to do there. Tell me what to do.
I'm a coffee
Yeah.
shop 4 days a week.
What do you do
kind of
there?
person.
Do you work at
Yeah,
a
I'll
coffee
send
shop?
some. Yeah, you get it. You get a bottomless mug of coffee, and you drink it until you're shaking. And then when you're done, a lot of your emails are probably sent.
That sounds healthy.
And then when you reread them, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't believe I did that.
Isn't the environment too buzzy? What about the mediocre internet connection?
The people watching is the best part, especially at a place like
Mm-hmm.
Lakota. If you go to one just downtown,
Yeah.
half of the time you will spend watching people in line.
Same with Caldi's when it was open.
Which one's
just-
better?
Lakota.
It seems like you're voting with your dollars. So
I like Caldi's. I'm like, they're still
Oh.
closed because of COVID.
Oh, okay.
And I'm
So
so sad. I love Caldi's.
yeah,
Probably more than Lakota.
but just so Lakota doesn't feel bad, it seems like you like Lakota too.
I do. My
Yeah,
apartment. Like, I go there all the time.
Oh gosh, she's disclosed where she lives. People.
Oh,
Please-
yeah. You can cut that out. if
Please
you
don't
want.
bother Rachel after hours. I'll put a bleep. It'll be funny.
Okay.
I've been wanting to add more sound effects to the podcast.
That
Yeah, you
would
should.
be fun.
That's a great. That's a good excuse. Last week you added one in yourself. You just
I
left the
did.
beep in there. It's perfect.
I did.
Okay, so I do not have a master's degree. I don't believe, Andrew, you don't have a master's degree.
I don't have a degree. I'm joking. I did go to Mizzou.
You have a degree, but no
Just
master's.
for the record, though, it's fine if you don't have a degree
Oh,
out there.
yeah.
Well, of course, but this was leading into my question. I
I'm
have
sorry,
no
you
idea
go.
what it
You talk.
entails to have a master's degree. 5 semesters sounds like a lot, especially if you're working full time.
Mhm.
And then you mentioned that you did your dissertation via Zoom. Dissertation is when you
That's a
take
strong word. It was a thesis
thesis.
defense.
Thesis
Mm.
In
defense.
quotes.
So what this means is that you took what you've learned in the course of your entire higher education career, and then you put that into an idea that you created, and then
Mhm.
you present that to people.
Yep.
And then they tell you yes or no.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
Brutal.
Explain what that process is like, because it seems extremely overwhelming.
Yeah, so I thought it was going to be overwhelming too, but the way they did it, and I don't know that I super agree with how the program did it because they put us in groups and like everybody either loves or hates group projects, and it probably depends on how much you contribute to the group project. So I know like in high school, I hated them because I was the person that ended up doing all the work. Luckily, I was in a really good crew. We all work at MU, so like we could physically meet in person to work on our project. And it went really well. We ended up doing it over medical students' evaluations of faculty at MU. So it actually ended up being pretty applicable. We like built a dashboard that providers can go and look at and see how their students are rating them. And we looked at variances in like race of students and race of teachers and age and sex and everything you can think of. But the idea was, like you said, using what you've learned the last 5 semesters and doing something meaningful with it. And so my emphasis was data visualization and healthcare analytics. And so we kind of hit hard on the visualization since in the end we built this dashboard that has like charts and graphs. And our thesis defense, like I said, it was at the height of COVID. And so we had to do it over Zoom. And it was like, it was horrible. Okay. So you're on Zoom. Zoom is already awkward. They start the call and they're like, okay, we're going to give you guys 10 minutes to like break out just in your group, kind of talk about your presentation. We had already practiced it, so it was fine. So we were starting to present. We were presenting to, I think, 3 of our professors and then our faculty mentor, who is the dean of education at the med school. He's awesome. But anyway, so we're like 20 minutes into going over our thesis, and so like I said, my apartment, I live on the south side of Columbia. It's kind of loud. And somebody drives up blaring super loud, just like hardcore rap music. I think every other word is booty. Are you going to say something?
No, I was just going to ask how vulgar it was.
I mean, way vulgar, more vulgar than just the word booty. But I heard that word over and over, and I was like, oh,
Booty
my
was
gosh.
discernible.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, like these people, I am literally finishing up grad school, and this is what they're going to hear. And so I like to start cracking up because I thought they could hear the music. They couldn't hear it. And they're like, why are you laughing? Like, what's so funny? And I was like, oh, you guys can't hear that rap music outside? And they're like, no. And I was like, okay, so sorry. So eventually, like, the rap music stops. I stopped laughing. Luckily, they were super gracious and just kind of like let it slide. But how embarrassing. Like, I have worked the last 2 years and this is going to happen.
It all accumulated in that one moment.
I was like, this is awesome.
The sum of your educational experience.
Yes, to booty.
Well, at least we know that you did get your master's.
Yeah.
So it's a happy ending despite the rap music.
We passed. They interrogated us. I was really nervous because in past years I had heard that they were so harsh on kids that they, not kids, students, that they called and like apologized for interrogating them so hard.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was kind of nervous. I was like, crap, they're going to ask me something and I'm not going to know the answer.
There has to be a little bit of balance because when you spend the amount of money and time that you do, I would hate for that whole process to wrap up and to think, well, that was really easy. I could have done that without half of the hours that I spent doing it. So I bet that there is probably some necessary feeling that they think to push a little more and to
no doubt
make the students feel like they
this was
needed
worth
to prepare
it.
for this.
Yeah. Which it totally was. And yeah, we passed. It was fine.
Let's talk about fear-mongering in the educational space. I don't like it.
Fear-mongering?
Fear-mongering,
what do you mean by that?
No, I just mean when teachers scare you into, I don't know what they're trying to do, but they basically make you afraid of the presentation, make you afraid of the test, the exam.
But doesn't that happen? That happens in our entire, I remember in preschool, the memory I have, because I was so terrified of them saying, you have no idea what it's going to be like when you get to elementary school.
Oh, yeah. I remember that
And then it's the same thing.
Jeez, man, where did you go to preschool?
No, I mean, it's called ABC Daycare.
Was it the early human school?
Maybe it was.
I think they say that in like every transition grade.
Yeah,
so like
you do 5th grade to 6th grade, and it's like you have no idea what middle school is going to do.
8th grade to 9th grade.
Yeah, that's true. You're in 5th grade, and they're showing you the sex education DVD, and they're like, you have no idea what 6th grade is going to be like.
High school was probably worth what they built it out to be.
But I still felt underprepared for college somehow.
Really?
Yeah.
College is huge for a lot of people when you look at the amount of people compared to where they go to high school. I know for me, where you think, oh, there's a lot of people in my high school, I can handle this. And then you get to college on the first day.
With 30,000 other students.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Did you grow up wanting to be a data analyst, or what did you want to be when you grew up? And how did you get here? Because it seems like a very unique profession. So what's the story?
It's for sure a niche. I'm realizing that like more and more every day. But when I was younger, I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. I feel like everybody's going to be a doctor when they're younger. But
Kevin, did you ever want to be a doctor?
No, I was
No, that's for smart kids.
Yeah.
You're gifted. I bet you wanted to be a doctor at some point.
I never did.
Okay.
Never did.
I don't know. I always really liked science. I am really good at math, like freakishly good at math sometimes. That sounds, cut that out.
I mean, tell us how you really feel.
Super arrogant.
That stays.
I'm over 2.
That stays.
No. But yeah, when I was younger, I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. I remember very specifically, I wanted to be a brain surgeon. Wild. And then obviously as I like got older and went to college, I was like, man, doctors have a lot of liability. I really don't want to go to med school. And then I for sure don't want to do a residency or a fellowship, everything that entails. So I was like, I don't want to be a doctor. Like I said, I really like math. I like other areas of science. So I was like, okay, engineering. And then at MU, luckily, they have a really good engineering program for whatever kind of engineer you want to be, like mechanical, civil. I was biomedical engineering because, like I said, I like science. So I did that. And then I worked kind of on the clinical engineering side for a little while. Also really enjoyed that, but it quickly became like a very toxic environment. It's very similar to sales reps. I don't know how to say it. Your persona is going to either get your company a sale or it's not. And so there's just this pressure to like be perfect and kind of do whatever you have to do to make the company look good. I can even remember like the last year I worked there, we were at a conference and I saw this guy take his wedding ring off and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is such a horrible, like, That's when
Oof.
oof is right.
Don't be that guy.
No, that's when I realized like this is this is not a good environment to be in. And I was already in my master's program at that time, but I was like, okay, like I'm going to get a job doing data science because that's what I actually like to do. It was just perfect timing that this spot at MU opened up and they picked me. I don't know why.
So this is
sometimes,
kind of a
but
dream job in some sense.
Kind of.
Like as an adult, it's a dream job.
Yeah,
You're not an astronaut and you don't play in the NBA, but you
Right.
are a data scientist.
yeah. And like I
That's
didn't
cool.
even know that I wanted to do it until I went to grad school.
Cool.
So,
Do you think
yeah.
people should maximize their talents?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I mean, I think like if you have something to give, you should give it. Why wouldn't you?
Sure. Kevin, I would like to ask her about leaving a fingerprint in the workplace.
I love it.
Can I do
also
that?
love the line that you just said. If you have something to give, then give it.
It's a good point. Yeah, don't
writing
keep
that
it all
down.
to yourself.
Yeah, I love that question. Go ahead.
So Rachel, what is it? Kevin and I, we do Final Vibe.
Mhm.
We like thinking about legacy. What does it look like to show up to work every day and bring purpose? Is that easy for you? Is it hard to see purpose in what you do, or do you feel like you're leaving a meaningful fingerprint?
I would like to think that I'm leaving a very meaningful fingerprint. Like the mission statement for MU Healthcare is to save and improve lives. And so, kind of in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, somehow, some way, like somebody's life is going to either be saved or improved because I'm doing this really, what seems like a really menial task of giving a provider a list of his patients. Or like something that me and people on my team talk about a lot is make sure like what you're doing is adding value to this organization or is adding value to whatever department is asking of you, or you're not doing something like you're not wasting your time doing something because it's not going to produce anything actionable or useful. And so I would just like to think that every day when I go into work, 8-9 hours, I leave and something down the road is going to be better because I was there that day.
Well, and what's interesting too is you probably never see the faces of the people that you help.
Right. Yeah. They're
Is that
really
hard to connect the dots between what you're doing and the actual change that's being made?
Yes and no, because like you said, yeah, I never see patients. Like I used to be more on the clinical side, but now I'm kind of in more, not administrative, but kind of behind the scenes. Like nobody knows my job exists. Honestly, nobody, very few people know. But sometimes like when I am pulling data, I see a number and I like in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, that's a real patient. This really happened. They really had this diagnosis and I can see their outcomes or whatever I'm looking at. And so no, I can't see their face, but I can see a trend line going down for mortality or a trend line going down for unplanned readmissions. And I know that like, okay, less people died this year at MU than ever before, which is really great.
That is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
can
a
agree
Less
that
people
that's a good
died
thing.
than they were expecting to die, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Save and improve lives.
Yeah.
Well, I think that transitions really well into legacy. How do you want to be remembered?
That's a good question. I would like, so the most important thing to me is Jesus. And so I just would like to be remembered as somebody who like reflected Jesus. For example, like I want to be remembered as somebody who loved my neighbor really well, who was really generous with my time. Like you were talking about with talents earlier, really generous with my talents, what I have to give. And like, this is kind of nerdy, but on Friday night sometimes, since we can't do anything because of COVID, I love watching Dateline. And like some of the opening lines on Dateline is, you know, this poor girl, she was murdered. Like she could light up a room or she would, like they talk about, and I was like, man, if I'm ever on Dateline, like what do I want them to say about me?
Well, that's a good question though. I mean, that is the crux of legacy sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever thought about that?
No, that's the exact same Final Vibe question.
Mhm.
It's just a much more unique way to look at it. I like
know.
that.
It's kind of morbid, but obviously I hope people think good things about me. I'm sure there's going to be people who like only had a negative interaction with me, which I hate. But yeah, I don't think about it a lot, and I probably should because I think the way I interact sometimes would be a lot different if I thought, okay, like what if this is the only interaction I have with this person and I'm being short with them or I'm being grouchy? Like I'm going to be the grouchy girl to them forever.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think we've probably all been that person
Mhm.
Right.
at some point.
That's something Andrew and I've realized when we started creating Final Vibe was that when you put a name to this mindset of kind of keeping legacy and how you want to be remembered, top of mind day in and day out, you do kind of notice those interactions that you have with people, and you're like, is this the moment where I'm going to be the person I want to be or the person that I was? And it's just easier to keep that top of mind. So I like that you said that a lot.
Do you work with a lot of people at work, or is it like you in a cubicle or on a computer, sort of isolated all day?
Kind of both. Like there are for sure days where I'm just at my computer all day long, but I do work with a ton of people. Like I pull data for all of the inpatient providers. There's like hundreds of them. So, I mean, I have meetings all day long with people, mostly over the computer now, but yeah.
The University of Missouri's healthcare system is massive. And do you know how many people it employs?
Oh, I have no idea.
I think
Thousands.
it might be over 10,000.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Easily.
Less than $1 billion?
Less than $1 billion,
Okay.
maybe more than 10,000. How has we're 4 months into a pandemic. You are in the middle of where a lot of attention is just within hospital systems. How has the last 4 months changed your day-to-day job, if it has? And what else have you seen change within the healthcare system?
Yeah, it's been a crazy, it was a crazy time to get a job. I started this job April 7th, I think, which is I think when things really started shutting down, like we couldn't do anything. Up until this last week, I was working at home, which is something I've never had to do before. And I wasn't expecting, I remember like a month before I started my job, I emailed my boss and I was like, hey, can't wait to be in the office, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't know if we'll be back by then, because I think in March, we all thought, oh, come April, everything will be back to normal.
2 weeks.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And so, like you said, working in this field during COVID, like all we do is look at COVID data sometimes and how quickly things are changing and how healthcare is changing. Like, I mean, MU developed a telehealth program within a week, which is something that they were striving to do for years, but COVID kind of forced them to
Game
build.
time.
Yeah, seriously.
It accelerated so many things that were on the back burner.
You can't have sick patients coming in and spreading diseases.
So how has that been? I mean, telehealth. That sounds crazy. That sounds Jetsons.
I mean, like, imagine seeing a doctor over a computer. It's definitely not like coming into a clinic. I'm sure it's cutting down on the spread of some infections. I don't know, but there's also some things that like you have to come into the doctor for. Like if you need, I don't know, a blood pressure check or something.
Right.
You know, if they need to check your pulse, maybe.
Yeah.
Saliva swab. Those are tough.
Yeah. But I definitely, like, people keep saying, oh, when things go back to normal, we'll do this. And in my head, I'm like, I don't think things are ever going to go back, at least in healthcare.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of industries that will stay the same.
Yeah.
I had a telehealth appointment with my GI doctor. It was just a follow-up, so I could do it. And she was early to the appointment, and it went very fast. She was sitting in her home office, and it was the smoothest, fastest, most efficient doctor's appointment I've ever had.
Can we rewind a second? Did you say that she was early for your appointment?
Exactly.
Your doctor was early?
I loaded up the call,
Something
and
that
she
would
was
never
already
happen
sitting
in
there.
real life.
And that's never happened in the history of healthcare for anybody.
You probably had 3 Harry Potter books on queue.
Just in case, ready to go. Yeah.
And you never even opened the first
And
one.
I thought the appointment would start. I had like a 2-hour window of the start time, but it was right on time.
Dang.
So I think there's some people that might pull some positives out of this and maybe
Absolutely.
not want to go back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my favorite part about doctor's appointments is scheduling the first appointment of the day. Doctor's still late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting their coffee.
How does that happen? Coffee? Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah. I see doctors walk in with their cup of coffee. I'm like, you should have been here 45 minutes ago. Your patients are waiting for you.
My doctor was late to my
Preach.
surgery because they went to the wrong hospital.
Oh, my
So who knows what it is, you know? There's just they're people too.
They got a lot going on.
Yeah, they got a lot
Give
going
grace.
on.
Interesting.
I wasn't giving anybody grace at that time. I was extremely frustrated that morning.
I would like to know what is the vibe like in your workplace when it comes to the pandemic? Like, do you find that people are generally a little bit freaked out? Do you think that people are about it? Because I would be tempted to think people in the medical industry would maybe know more than your average Joe, and I don't know if that's good or bad. So what's it been like?
I've seen both sides of it. Obviously, I work with physicians and they know a lot. Like, I work with infectious disease doctors every day. Like, they know what's going on, so they're not afraid. But then on the other hand, you've got staff who refuse to come in because they are so afraid that they're going to get COVID just by being in the hospital. And so there's for sure a range. And like I said, like my team is really good about being super transparent with the COVID data. So, I mean, even you who doesn't work at MU Healthcare, you could log on and see how many positive patients are in the hospital right now, which would freak some people out. But at the same time, I'm like, no, it's good that we're taking care of these patients. It's good that they're here. So yeah, like I personally am not super afraid. Like I said, I've been going into the office this last week. I just started physically going back just because they told me I could, and I was kind of tired of sitting at home alone. And I mean, I'm not afraid. You have to wear a mask in the hospital, but you have to wear a mask everywhere. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really
No, you
matter.
do. Do you, on a serious note, do you think COVID has made you think about death more?
I think I was actually just thinking about that the other day. I think everybody is forced to think about everything a little bit more. And it seems like sometimes all we hear about is death. And like, I mean, every day on the news, it's like we're breaking records with how many people died that day because of COVID. It really hits me hard when I see somebody who is perfectly healthy, close to my age, no underlying conditions, and they die of COVID. I'm like, okay, it really, like, it can affect anybody. Like, maybe you'll get it and you won't even have symptoms, or maybe you'll get it and you won't make it.
That is spooky.
Yeah, it is. And I think you're right in that a lot of people have had to think about a lot of things and they've had the time to do it. And that's, I mean, when you look at the creation of Final Vibe and when it became a concept, it was purely from that time zone where it was like late March, early April, where no one had any idea what was going to happen. And yeah, that's where it stemmed from, me sitting and thinking about some of these things. So I think that a lot of people, regardless of age, I've had people that have been in their 60s who have reached out and said, I've started thinking a lot about these ideas and what I want to do also now, and they're 60 years old, but this has still made them slow down for the first time. Because whether you're 25 or 40, 50, 60, when you get in the groove that we were all in 5 months ago, where all you did was work 8 to 5 and do your thing, it was hard to slow down and think about it. So I think it's powerful that this is, as many negatives have come from it, one of the positives is that you cannot say you haven't had time to at least meditate on some of the bigger things that life has to offer, and then choose which of those things you want to actually grab and go after. So in addition to working as a data analyst for MU Healthcare and spending some time at Lakota Coffee, what else do you do? What are you passionate about? What do you want to see happen in the hours where you're not actually in the office?
Yeah, so my last semester of school, I got to help kind of TA a freshman level college class, just like intro to bioengineering. And I realized, like, okay, most of this class are male students, not a ton of females in here. I wish more like females would not get interested, but just be interested in science, technology, engineering, math, like STEM fields. And so that's something I've kind of become more passionate about, is just, I think there's like some sort of weird stereotype that only men can be interested in technology or interested in science or computers or whatever. And that's so not true. Like, it sounds so cliche, but girls can do anything. And like, even in my field now, I work on a team with mostly males who are in kind of the data science side of things, which is fine. Like, they're all great. I just wish that there were more women in it so that there wasn't so much of a stereotype. Because a lot of times when people ask what I do, they're like, whoa, that's like impressive. You don't seem like somebody who'd be into that. But I don't think it has to be that way.
Do you think that women are misrepresented in your field?
I don't know about
or maybe not sorry,
just like
underrepresented is what I meant.
I for sure think they're underrepresented. And I noticed that in grad school too. It was for sure predominantly male students doing this. And yeah, I had a couple opportunities in undergrad to help, like, kind of not really mentor, but just talk to high school girls about what it would mean to be a female engineer. And I was like, this is really important.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, so what similar thing like that can you do now, or do you do now to continue educating what you've done in your short career and what other females in high school and college can do?
I wish there was more opportunities. I'm hoping that I still get to TA that intro, that freshman level, just basically like, what does engineering even mean class? Because as as students move up in higher ed, you see the gender gap even more. And I feel like if maybe like younger female students had like more encouragement or even just more knowledge about what it meant to be a woman, what it means to be a woman in the STEM field, maybe they would be like, okay, I can do it. I can hang.
That is really cool. Have you had any ambitions or projects or anything like that come out of all this?
Like out of COVID?
Yeah, out of COVID, out of all the thoughts that have stemmed from COVID. Has it changed anything about your perspective or any habits in your life?
I'm doing things now that obviously I couldn't, I mean, not that I couldn't do before COVID, but just a small thing. Like when we were in lockdown and everybody was stuck at home and I was working at home, one of my friends, actually right before the pandemic, he was like, hey, I'm getting rid of a upright keyboard. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll take it. I remember just during, like when I was at home in lockdown, I played the piano all the time just because I had so much free time. Like couldn't hang out with my friends, couldn't do anything like that. It's just like little things like that I didn't, like I love playing the piano, but I never got to do that when I was working at the hospital 100% of my time because there was just no time. And now all we have is time.
That is amazing.
You've also just recently entered this phase of life where you, for the first time in decades, have just a full-time job and then whatever else you want. There's no classes. There's no other thing that's down the road that you need to be maybe preparing for at every moment. That's gotta feel good.
Yeah.
But
amazing.
you still don't really know, I guess, what it actually feels like because life is still weird.
Yeah.
So
how do you spend your free time?
Good question. I love hanging out with my friends here in Columbia, my family. So I'm from Springfield, Missouri, and so I get to see my family a lot. They're only 3 hours away. It's so nice.
Yeah, that's not bad. I feel like Springfield has a bit of a mixed reputation, though. What would you say to the haters?
I would say buzz off.
Okay. Oh, wow. Fair enough.
I love Springfield.
That's great.
Cashew chicken.
Oh
I don't
my
understand.
gosh.
What do you mean?
I can't get into the cashew chicken.
Honestly,
does that
I
mean?
can't either. I'm not a big fan, but
With
like,
the gravy, right?
yeah, it's just chicken and gravy.
It's the most disgusting thing. If you are expecting cashew chicken, an Asian dish, and they hand you fried chicken with like Thanksgiving Day gravy on top. I brought a bus full of kids there just 6 months ago. We went to Springfield.
Really?
And everybody said, you got to have the cashew chicken. So we all go and we were expecting like crab rangoon and cashew chicken. And it was disgusting. It's like a dish.
See, this is what I'm talking about, Rachel. I didn't want to say it. I just
We were
no.
all duped.
okay.
No.
I love Springfield because, okay, Springfield is so goofy. I went to Kickapoo High School. Our colors were brown and gold.
Yeah, we know.
This whole sound,
Like, where else is that going to happen?
hopefully
And,
nowhere else.
Hold on. And what's the mascot? Isn't the mascot kind of weird?
The Chiefs?
Oh, no.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
No, that's not
Columbia has
weird.
the worst high school mascot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Cupies? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that is.
So
I
don't even dog
understand
on
that.
Kickapoo.
It's true.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say I've been underwhelmed with the Springfield experience. I want to tell one story. Basically, I went there to visit friends that were actually in Bolivar, but Bolivar's
That's
not
even
super.
worse than
Hey,
Springfield.
easy. My friends are from there. Bolivar's not the most bumping place. So
For fun, they go to Springfield.
that's where I'm going with this. So we went to this place in Springfield, and like it was super bizarre to me because we were driving. I'd call it the Strip. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Downtown, the
Yeah,
Strip.
yeah.
We're driving, and we couldn't get anywhere because people were just in the street
Mhm.
walking around. What is that?
Oh,
What were they doing?
Okay, people do that downtown Columbia.
No
They
way.
just walk
No
around.
way. No way. You
Yeah,
can
way.
drive down Broadway on a Friday night,
Yeah, but
like where the cars are supposed to be.
yeah,
The people are on the sidewalks.
They push the crosswalk button and then they wait.
It was the most bizarre thing. Like people just standing in front of the headlights, kind of looking into the car,
Mhm.
like we were a moose.
like you were the problem, not them.
It was amazing. I couldn't understand it.
To each his own.
I just don't like Missouri State, and it's in Springfield, so then I don't like
Yeah.
the everything it's
Fair.
associated with.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I just got bad vibes coming from Springfield, but
Yeah.
we don't want to kick a poo on your hometown
Good one.
because it's home for you,
Excellent.
and that's good. And by the way, in case you're listening to this thinking, "Wow, those hosts are pretty harsh," Rachel's a good sport, and this is all in good fun. Just for the record,
Yeah, it is.
you're not hurt, are you?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
I've heard much
I'm
worse
glad.
from you.
Wipes the
Take that
tears
out.
away.
hey, we have a good relationship where we poke fun at each other. All right, let's lighten things up. If you've listened to any podcasts in the past, you know that we just like to let your personality shine through for the second half of the podcast. So, Rachel, are you prepared for a few rapid fire questions?
No.
Well, you better be because it's happening. Okay, let's do this. If you could live in any country for the next year, where would it be?
Australia.
Really?
Yeah, really.
What's up with Australia?
I don't know. It just looks really pretty. I've seen pictures of it.
That's it?
People seem nice.
You want to go because it's pretty?
Yeah, actually, I went on a hiking trip last week and we ran into this girl, and I'm pretty sure she was from Australia, and she just seems so cool. We talked about her the rest of the trip. We were like, we want to be that girl's friend. She seems so cool.
Yeah, well, the Hemsworth guys are from Australia.
Mm.
Everybody that's in the United States that's from Australia is the coolest person.
I know.
But do they think that about us when we
Oh.
are there? Because I
I bet
they
they
don't.
think we're super lame.
Probably.
Yeah,
Because
I was
they're
going to
so
say,
cool.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, we probably roll off the plane and they're like, ugh.
American.
There's just something about Australia, man. There's
It's got
good
a cool
culture.
name. It's got it's
yeah.
got
They're
cool
so
culture.
laid back.
They have
I
kangaroos.
think,
The whole thing's a beach.
yeah.
Don't they
There's
have
an
no
outback?
ozone layer? Is that true?
I don't
Did hear
even
that on
know.
the podcast? I thought I heard that they have no ozone layer or something. Cut that out. I have no idea.
I don't even know what an ozone is.
I thought that there was an increase in skin cancer in Australia. Because
maybe there
there's
is.
no
Oh,
ozone
for
to
Just be
protect them
confident,
from
Kevin.
the
We're
sun.
keeping it in.
I'm sure there is.
You know Simon Hill, Australian,
the fitness guy.
plant proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, vegan guy. But did you know that he's actually from Texas?
What?
Yeah.
Plot twist.
Oh.
He's from Texas originally, but he moved to Australia, and somehow the guy just picked up a super dense accent.
How long would that take for a 28-year-old to pick up if I moved there?
No idea.
Could I do it? Do people do that?
Here's what's weird. So, as a language guy myself, if you already speak English, my guess would be that you'd probably not change,
Right.
maybe slightly.
Mhm.
But obviously, if you were learning it as a second language, you would totally just pick up the Australian accent.
This is a fun fact and totally off topic, but for people listening who do not know you very well, you say that you're a language guy. What do you mean by that?
I mean that when I went to school in the colleges a long time ago, I studied Spanish, got my degree in Spanish, and I did a minor in Portuguese, Brazilian studies.
Hey,
So Portuguese language,
super dope.
and yeah, it was cool.
Language
And
expert.
hey, also multicultural certificate.
Wow.
You know, that's one of those tack-ons
That's
you can
short,
get at
yeah.
Mizzou.
Yeah.
You can
What's
like
that even
apply for it.
mean?
We don't know.
He took
Okay.
11 of the right credit hours and
Yeah.
gets to add something to the bottom of the resume.
Yeah, multicultural. I mean, Spanish, Portuguese. I think it checks out. Yeah.
You seem very cultured.
Really?
Mhm.
I don't know. I felt like I was pretty white. That's okay.
Tan well.
No one picks, right?
Nope.
Yeah. What is your family heritage?
Native American.
Native American. Yeah. Would you say that you tan well
Oh, yeah.
in the summer?
Mm-hmm.
Who has a better tan right now, me or you?
Probably me.
Doubt it. All right. Question number 2. What do you find attractive in men?
The first thing I look at is their hair.
Yeah. Why is that?
I think because I love my own hair.
Is that your favorite part about yourself?
It is.
Talk to me
indeed.
about that. What do you
I
like about your hair?
just- It's just very long. It's shiny. Don't judge it today. It's really frizzy because it's humid as.
I have to take your
know.
photo after this for all of the marketing materials that we're going to share.
Yeah, I have a very strict regimen when it comes to my hair.
Tell us about it.
I only cut it once a year because I really like it long. And I wash it in cold water.
Okay.
People are like, oh, so you take cold showers? No, I just turn it cold when I need to wash my hair.
And do you do that thing where you sort of like awkwardly put your head?
Because I don't want my whole body in the cold water.
Yeah, it's terrible. Cold shower,
Yeah.
brutal.
Horrible.
Apparently good for you though.
Yeah, it's actually, I
Uh.
think it dries out your hair less.
I have heard it's better for your
Wash it in
hair.
cold water.
I have
don't-
also heard that, like in the fitness space, some people will take cold showers because they think it spikes testosterone.
I've heard that. But
I
then,
don't know if it's true. Maybe it is.
But then there's heat shock proteins if you take a hot shower. or
Hey man,
something.
here
Yeah, so who
I'm not
knows?
here. I'm not the guy.
No, I know we're not gonna
rah
answer this
rahing
question
on
right now.
the cold showers for testosterone. I'm not here for that. You
Just
know?
here for the shiny hair.
Yeah, that's good. Then what happens?
Mm,
I mean, what's your shampoo? I mean, are you gonna just keep it to
Aveda.
yourself?
kind of bougie. It's worth spending the money on, and it smells so good.
No, I think people like Aveda.
Yeah.
It's a good product.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong
Nothing
with
bad
buying
with
good
I'm shocked that
products.
you know what that is.
My wife uses Aveda.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's great. She
Thanks.
has great hair too.
Well, I'm flattered vicariously.
My wife might. I don't know, to be honest.
So you look at guys' hair.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
I look at their teeth.
Yeah, cool.
I think that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Looking at teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure. Do you have any Hollywood crushes?
Not Hollywood, but I have a pretty big crush on our local weather guy.
Oh, that's right. I've heard about this.
Am I allowed to say his name?
It's up to
Kenton
you.
Jawicki? Yes, I love him.
Everybody loves Ken Jawicki.
He's a nice guy. We
know.
saw him at Logboat once.
Yeah, we did.
You think there's a chance that we get Ken Jawicki on the podcast?
Kenton, can we have you on the podcast?
I bet he'd do it.
I bet he would.
That'd be fun.
He'd be awesome.
That'd be fun.
I'm going to make it happen.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's interesting.
He's so tall.
Oh, so tall.
Which is like, I'm not tall, so usually like
How tall are you?
5'3".
Do you like that about yourself?
I don't mind. I usually wear heels just because I feel like it makes me more confident, and people might take me a little more seriously
That's cool.
if they're not physically
Yeah,
looking
I wear
down on me.
Totally. I wear a puka shell necklace in the summer because it makes me feel more confident.
You have it on right now. It looks great.
Yeah, do you do anything like that?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. Have you ever gone skydiving?
No.
Would you?
No.
Would you ever go cliff jumping?
No.
You don't sound like a risk taker. Do
I'm not.
you like playing Scrabble?
Yeah.
That makes sense. What's your favorite fast food restaurant?
Chick-fil-A, hands down.
Wow.
Has
What do you-
anyone not said Chick-fil-A?
I don't think anybody.
Your wife got me hooked on the mac and cheese. Whew.
What do you order whenever you go, in addition to the mac and cheese?
Well, okay, I typically never get the mac and cheese, but recently I was there with some friends and they gave us a free order, so I was
Oh,
chowing down.
wow. Nice.
But my go-to is the 8-count nugget meal with a diet lemonade.
Okay.
You know people are serious when it rolls off the tongue like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sure.
It's like
every time.
it's like my Jimmy John's order.
I was trying to think of an order that I could do right now off the top of my head. Like,
Yeah, Beach
no
Club on
problem.
wheat sprouts, no mayo.
That's hilarious.
I don't know. Did you know that on the Jimmy John's website, if you get sprouts, you have to say that you accept the health risks of consuming sprouts and that they have been shown to cause cancer. You have to say that on the website when you get sprouts.
I'm pretty sure a
Interesting.
lot of people got sick, and they kept they would put it on the menu and then take it off, and then they would put it back, and then I think they were just like, "Screw it, you guys have to check a box.
You have to
and can
agree.
yeah, sign this waiver. We'll give you some sprouts."
That's so
That's
bizarre.
crazy.
That is bizarre.
I wonder what's in them.
What's your ideal Friday night?
I don't know, hanging out with my pals.
Yeah. What are you doing with your pals?
Well, in the midst of a pandemic, we're
That's
typically...
boring. Let's not talk about that. When the world is as it could be.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Columbia, Missouri is so fun to just hang out
Sure.
downtown. They have fun rooftop bars, restaurants.
Well, which ones? Get specific. Come on. Tell people where to go. Press is fun.
Yeah, I don't know if people that listen to this are local or not.
Some are.
Hey, some aren't. Some
have
aren't.
been here, and they love to hear the banter about
About Columbia.
their favorite places when they
Mhm.
were here.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say most people listening are probably from Columbia-ish,
Or have
Missouri
some ties
folks.
to-
Know what's going
Some
on.
ties.
Yeah.
Some ties, yeah.
What's that other one? The Roof. I think that's what it's called.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
All the iconic restaurants.
Yeah, what else?
I don't know what else is there doing.
If you were
Columbia?
starving and had $100, where would you go?
CC City
Mm,
Broiler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been there one time. And
not
it was the
vegan.
best night of my life.
Best night of your life.
Seriously? You actually
I-
mean that?
I got a gift card for $250, and I took 2 of my friends, and it was so fun.
Yeah. Did you pay for them?
Yeah, with that gift card,
Well, just making sure.
it was fat.
It was.
That's a pretty good size gift card. For
It's
3
at least
people.
enough for an appetizer at CC's.
We paid the whole thing with a tip.
Yeah, I was joking.
You didn't get
Okay.
alcohol,
Yeah, we did,
really?
and an appetizer. Well, our waiter gave us a free dessert,
Oh, that's pretty good.
which that's probably like $20.
Do you think he was flirting with you in the group?
No,
You don't know
I think
that.
he was just being
I don't.
Maybe.
nice.
Kevin, is anybody genuinely nice anymore without a hidden agenda?
My wife and I got a free dessert last time we were at CC's because it was our anniversary.
So this is the thing.
They probably
Maybe.
weren't hitting on you.
I don't think so. Nice guy.
Pro
though.
tip:
Maybe
don't
he
hit
was.
on married couples.
Maybe they just pass out desserts because then it makes us talk about them for
Maybe.
years
Mm.
afterwards.
And
I like that actually.
if they give you a free dessert, are you really going to tip them that bad?
no, that's true. No one's ever given a
You're
free
not.
dessert and received a bad tip.
You know, actually, we were at Las Margaritas last week, and somebody ordered a drink kind of last minute. You know how the hangout is petering out, but you're like,
Mhm.
I'll take one more.
Yeah.
And he just forgot to ring it up, and he came out. He was like, hey, I actually forgot to put that on the bill. Don't worry about it. It's on me.
So sweet.
So nice. And guess what happened? we tipped him more.
Yeah.
We literally tipped him the price of the drink.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that guy just hustled the system because he knew we were going to do that. Either way, good for that guy.
I think if I were a waiter, I would never charge anybody for sodas because everybody would look at the tip and be like, this is cheaper than normal. That's weird.
I'm
And then they would
more.
just tip more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tip normal.
Genius. Sort of corrupt, but
I would get fired.
yeah, you can't do that. Don't do
Never
that
go
if you're in
away.
this food service industry. Funny enough, what is your tipping style?
20%.
Cool.
Every time, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really? What if it's the worst service?
I still do it because I know
Really?
like waiters don't make any money.
Is that true though?
Don't they make like $3 an hour? or
Well,
something?
hourly, yeah, but I mean,
Legally, they
Yeah.
cannot make less than minimum wage.
Okay. Really?
I don't think that's right.
If no one comes into the restaurant for 2 weeks straight, the owner has to pay the minimum wage.
Really? I
Oh.
did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Another thing I'm saying confidently might not be
either.
true.
I
but
know. Like I've talked to Alexa about.
I
don't
think
know.
that
I
that's
could be
true,
wrong.
and I'm pretty sure every single waiter, I shouldn't say every single waiter, a lot of waiters earn more than whatever minimum
tips.
wage is.
Yeah.
So that's not typically an issue, but I think it's impossible to earn less than that.
That's good.
That also plays into I was
Protect
talking
your
about.
people.
I want people to think of me as generous.
Yeah, totally. No, I think that's cool. The worst tip that I'm gonna give 15%. If you get 15%, that means you were
And like,
garbage
what if they were
waiter.
what if they were just having a bad day?
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Okay.
Hot take. I don't get what am I trying to say here? If I come to work having a bad day, dude, okay, I'm just going to say it. Nobody cares. I'm not saying nobody cares, but it's your job to show up.
Yep.
So
And it's your job to do your job.
that's right. That's right. And I think it's a bit immature to show up to your job and to just kind of throw a pity party in the name of having a bad day because your dirtbag boyfriend broke up with you. I am
Mhm.
sorry. I'm legitimate sorry about that.
But don't project it on me.
Yeah, but it's like, but I still need the chips.
Yeah.
And I need them, and if they're 5 minutes late, that's fine. But if they're 30 minutes late,
Come
we
on.
got problems.
We got problems.
We got problems.
You're going to go talk to the boyfriend.
No, I don't care about the boyfriend.
He's a dirtbag.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys disagree?
No. I agree.
You just gotta show up for your job.
Yeah. Just
Like,
do
well,
it.
like, what if you have a bad day? You're slacking off and you just burn all
Oh,
the day.
yeah.
What if you
I
have like a
know.
Zoolander moment? You smash the computer. or
No,
something,
I was
bad
just
day?
saying earlier, like today, it felt like one of those days where I dropped the ball in every direction, but like I still have to do my job.
Or I still got done.
That's right.
Yeah.
I find it interesting when you find that person at your favorite place that you go to and you just kind of observe one of the employees who seems to always be in that mood. And then you just have to wonder why they have chosen this as their day in and day out way to make money.
Mhm.
Those people confuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if I hated people
I wouldn't
as
work
much
with
as
them.
some of them appear to, yeah, I wouldn't choose to bring food to people and
have to serve them.
take care of them.
Yeah. But I so
Yeah.
much appreciate people who do their job with quality and purpose, and it's not dependent on how they feel in the moment. I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Big
Yeah.
time.
I think so. I
Me
think
too.
there's
Big
something
time.
there to people who can do that. Yeah.
Have you guys had a really terrible customer service experience lately? That could be a spicy talk.
I haven't really been anywhere lately.
Yeah, it's fair.
I don't know if it's because of COVID, but everybody who I have interacted with, getting a new air conditioner next week, I've had internet problems. I have plumbing problems now. Everybody who I've worked with through these typically terrible situations has been fantastic.
That's amazing. Good for
Hmm.
you. Can't say the same.
It sounds like you have something there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not really. I mean, honestly, actually, I just posted this morning about a phenomenal experience I had with the city of Columbia. I called because we're moving this week, my wife and I, and I was, getting the utilities switched over. And, it's a lot because like every aspect of your utility is like a different company, right? So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah. And so long story short, I called and this lady was super duper helpful. And she actually sounded happy when I called, which was super weird. Like I was taken off guard.
Yeah.
Because I had actually called earlier that day and I got your typical nematode of a guy who was just like, City of Columbia Utilities, how can I help you? It's fine. I'm not mad at the guy.
Right.
But she blew me out of the water. Loved it.
Those are great. You love those people. I'm glad that you did what you did and you called her out by name.
I did.
In multiple
Yeah.
social media platforms. I bet that gets back to her. And you know what? I wanted to bring this up. I'm glad you said that because I thought What if we challenged the Final Vibe community to one time a month, set a reminder in your phone and go back through your phone, your memory, whatever, find a positive experience like that restaurant, on the phone, customer service, at the mall, whatever it was, and go out of your way to either write something publicly online about that person or email whoever their supervisor was and just let them know, because there is nothing like being that person. And on a random Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., your boss goes, "Hey, did you see this post on Facebook? Great job." You're like, well, that changes her week.
It does.
So I thought when I read that, that was my first thought, was how cool would it be if we could get other people to just consciously write something positive.
I love that. I love that.
Now it's a thing.
Yeah, challenge
I think that's really
implemented.
cool.
Implemented.
Yeah.
Her name was Desty. I'm going public. Desty.
Put it everywhere.
Super nice. I said, hey, this has been awesome. Lately, I've been having a ton of terrible customer service. I just want you to know how much I appreciate you just being super patient, helpful, and going above and beyond. You know, I mean, she didn't just do the job well. She went above and beyond. She gave me phone numbers for who else I needed to call. I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. I tweeted about it. I got her supervisor's email. I had a busy day. I still wrote like 4 paragraphs. I don't know. It stinks when you don't get good customer service. So
we'll tease this. Eventually, I want you to tell the Apple story on the podcast, but now's not the
the
time.
Apple one? Oh, gosh.
Was it bad or good?
Awful.
It takes an hour and a half to tell the story,
Oh
but
my
it's
God.
fantastic.
It's a miracle that I still have Apple products.
It's because you
That's
have
funny
I
because
have
normally
to.
they're so good.
We'll talk later.
Okay.
Anyway, Katy Perry or Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I know. You love Taylor Swift.
I do.
What's about it?
I don't know. I think I've been loyal to her from day one. Like
Wow.
when she was a country horrible singer. I still went to her concert.
Oh, gosh,
like an
a little
idiot.
harsh, don't you think?
I know. But like, I think she would even admit that she's gotten a lot better.
I've never been to one of her concerts,
Never
but
ever.
I've heard that they are unlike anything else. So I would imagine a lot of people who have
Mhm.
gone even when she wasn't great probably still have that experience in their mind and think that she is like the bomb.
Her concerts are amazing.
I watched that documentary. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Changed my
It was cool.
mind. It changed my perspective on her entire career.
Me too. And like, I know with all documentaries, there's kind of an agenda. And so it kind of painted her as if she could do no wrong. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, she's not perfect. But it was very eye opening. Like, she's very much a human, just like any of us.
I thought
Yeah.
that the music industry was full of people who were just writing stuff and they would give it to her and they're like, "Taylor, here's your new #1 hit song. You're recording it tomorrow." But she would like legitimately wake up and be like, "Oh my gosh, I have an idea."
Hmm.
And then it has,
And she writes music for other people.
yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
She
Cool.
is more authentic than most, for
Yeah.
sure. Because that's the thing. I mean, people write songs and they sell songs, and it's a thing.
Right. I'm not saying it doesn't happen,
Mhm.
but I thought it happened with Taylor.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
yeah.
No,
That is what's
She's
impressive.
great.
well. I think what's cool about Taylor is that her identity is in every song. You know, you
Yeah.
can tell that it was from her.
Yeah.
And they all kind of feel similar in a good way. Not to say that she's rewriting the same song, but it's her brand.
Yeah.
She's good. What's your favorite song?
On Reputation, there's a song called Call It What You Want.
Okay,
I don't know why. I just like it.
I don't know that one. It's probably good.
It's really
I'm
good.
sure it's the best one on the album.
I don't know a title to any of them.
Yeah.
High School, Girl. She probably got a song called High School, right? She probably got a song. No?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I
I'm
don't think
just
so.
guessing.
I don't think so. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Is like being super smart a superpower?
No,
No.
you can
Like,
be
give
super
me some
smart. It's a
options.
superpower, like a
Like invisibility.
power that supersedes the norm.
Yeah, invisibility, no doubt.
Yeah. Why?
Mhm.
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
Sounds kind of creepy.
I want to hear what people are saying about me.
Oh, gosh, no.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Nobody wants that.
I think people all like you think you want that,
But you
and then
really
you'll do
don't.
it one time, and you're like, "Can I pick a different one?" Because
Next.
Seriously, like that sounds like a life of depression.
Really?
Don't you ever think that?
I don't know.
So sometimes, let's just be honest. There have been times in the past where I've complained about people in my life,
Mhm.
right? We all do it.
Oh, yeah.
And I wonder, people are having these conversations about me. There's something that I'm doing on the regular, probably, right?
Sure.
That people are like, oh my gosh, like Andrew was doing that thing again tonight, whatever the thing is. It's
You
so
wanna-
embarrassing. I don't
they
know
would-
what it is. What is
Right.
it?
You want to know what the thing? Yeah, because you leave the party, and the best part of going to a party is talking about the people that were at the party on your way
Yeah,
home.
kind
Yeah.
of, kind of.
Kind of.
No, it doesn't have to be in a bad way.
Of course not.
Yeah, you know what
No,
I mean.
but
Though.
like if the greatest time to be with my grandma is after a family affair because we get to
Nothing but honesty.
right, and we get to dissect everything, and we learn all
Mhm.
about all kinds of stuff. I forgot where I was going with that.
I'm sure grandma's a sweet lady.
She is. She's the sweetest lady. She'll probably listen to this and laugh.
Everybody
what I'm
does
saying,
it.
what I'm saying is that everybody probably does it. I'm not celebrating it. I would like to be better at it, but it
Yeah.
happens from time to time. I'm just saying, I know that people are probably having those same conversations. I would like to know what I'm doing
Yeah, what is
Somebody
the,
correct me.
So
Right.
why wouldn't you want to hear those conversations?
because
What if you can't
words
change
hurt.
it?
Yeah, if you can't change it, then
Well, yeah, that's terrible.
But-
Okay, so to be clear, like I would never be like, oh my gosh, that person's nose.
Yeah.
Okay, come
yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah.
like we're not
give them a break.
we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I know what you
I'm
mean.
more talking about like, man, that person's just like super interruptive. You know, they
Mhm.
just interrupt all the time. That's what I'm talking about. Usually, it's like social behavior.
Yeah.
On that note, do you have any pet peeves?
Not that I can think of off the top of my
Really?
head. I mean, I'm sure if I sat and really thought like, oh, what annoys me, I would think of something. But it honestly, it takes a lot to get me super annoyed.
Well, that's good. I feel like sign of patience.
Yeah.
Good for you, Kevin. Do you have any pet peeves?
People chewing anywhere near me.
Well, you mean like audibly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
Like the chomping.
dude, you'll never believe this. I was at the food court the other day. People chewing everywhere.
The noise of people chewing. Like when my wife and I sit down for dinner, if there is anything that will have some form of crunch, we will play music and turn the news on so that we can eat in peace.
So she's acutely aware of your
100%.
sensitivities.
100%. And
That's
I
interesting.
bother to myself. I'm not going to eat a bowl of cereal in a quiet room.
Oh, really? You can't even handle it if
Wow.
it's
I just
yourself?
I don't need it. It's just too much. It
Yeah,
just
that's
sounds
okay.
gross. It's
Yeah, that's
gross.
okay. We're just learning about each other here. Red wine or white wine?
White, sweet. I know. I'm not
What?
hardcore
It's
at all.
What? No. I didn't even make a facial
I made a
expression.
face.
I
don't
know.
like
You
but
made a face?
I
it.
did.
I did. She made.
It's
Yeah,
okay. I
red-
made it first.
Red wine's better. See, what tells me you know it's true
I
because
know.
I didn't even react. And you said white wine.
I know which one.
Yeah,
and
I
I
know.
realize it every time I'm with my friends, and they're like, "Oh, I'll take the driest red you have," and like, I want the sweetest white you have.
Yeah, that's kind of Kevin. That's kind of like whenever you have guys' night and people are coming over for drinks, and you go and you say to the guy, "Yeah, what beer you drink?" And he goes, I don't know," and you're like, "Well, just say." I mean, I do have this like Mike's pink hard lemonade,
And they like joke.
and he's like, "Oh gosh, no."
But let me
20
try
minutes.
it.
20 minutes later, he's pouring something in a cup.
"You dare me to drink it though?"
Yo, but like if you're not, I mean, like, so you're probably never gonna drink this.
You guys think I could actually drink it?
No, I'll stick with the beer. I mean, but I'll do it if you want. Yeah.
I'm
If
the
it's
same. I'm the same with coffee.
oh really?
Like I like
Basic.
a little bit of coffee with my cream. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you like cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. If you're at a wedding, free bar, open
Mhm.
bar, did your order change at all?
No,
Really?
I usually still get sweet.
What's your
white.
favorite whiskey?
I don't really drink whiskey.
Yeah. You watch Parks and Rec?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You watch The Office?
No. I have like very strong feelings about how those shows are filmed, and I don't like it.
Okay. Well, let's
Wow.
talk about that really quick. What are you saying? First of all, hold on. It's ridiculous that you ain't seen either.
I know.
Okay. Go
I've
ahead.
I've seen a couple episodes of both,
Yeah. that
so
doesn't
it's not
count.
like I've never laid eyes on The Office.
Okay, cool.
You don't like the documentary style
No, and I
comedy.
the humor in it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know.
What does it for you?
I don't know. Like really bad rom-coms.
No.
Do you like the Big Bang Theory?
No.
That's
Okay,
good. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just making sure you didn't have that type of humor.
Right, right. We were going to learn a lot about you.
No.
Yeah.
My favorite show is Friends.
Oh. Well,
That's pretty basic.
I know.
If you could hang out with one character from Friends for an entire day, who would it be? Rachel?
Green.
and that's Jennifer Aniston.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know. Seems fun. She has the same name as me on the show.
Right.
What else do you need?
What else do you need? That's
She's
compelling.
Jennifer Aniston. Who wouldn't want to hang out with her for a day?
That's fair. Jennifer Aniston's cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned rom-coms.
Mm-hmm.
Which ones do you like? You got a top three?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah,
is a
that's
good
a funny one. It's a
one.
funny one.
27 Dresses is a good one. Have you seen it?
I think I have. Who's in it? Is that Katherine Heigl?
Yes.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Cool. Good for me.
13 Going on 30 is another good one.
I don't know that one. I've
I
seen
can't
it.
think. I'm
I've
really
seen
bad
it.
at actresses' names.
That's okay.
It's a good one.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Do you watch horror flicks?
Not really.
Yeah. That's fair enough. When you go to the movie theater, do you get popcorn?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't typically go to the movies.
Right.
Like, even pre-COVID, for some reason, movies just put me to sleep. But yeah, popcorn with butter.
Yeah. How many pumps?
I don't know.
As many as possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Have you ever fallen asleep in the theater?
Oh, yeah. Like
Yeah.
every time.
Amazing. See, I do that
Every
too.
time?
I do that too. You don't do
Really?
that, Kevin?
No.
Even, like, just any movie in general.
Every time. Yeah, I
it's
can't
gonna
handle it.
Put me to sleep.
Can't handle it.
I think I've fallen asleep in the movies one time. A couple years ago, I saw Godzilla. It's terrible.
Which one?
I don't know.
Are they really long? Is that why I fell asleep?
I have no. It was.
It's
It was bad.
Any notable movies that you've seen that you thought were actually terrible?
Oh, gosh. My sister and I, one time we were really bored and we watched Sharknado. What even is that?
Well,
it was terrible.
it's kind of funny when, I mean, it's a spoof. Like once you wrap your head
I
around the
know.
fact that it's supposed to be awful, it's kind of awesome.
I think we went into it thinking it was more like Jaws. Nothing like Jaws.
Well, I don't know. Sharks, water, tornadoes unique though.
All right. Well, I got nothing. So I think let's just call it. Rachel Stuck. Again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Really
It's great.
appreciate you sitting down and talking to you about your life and how you save and improve lives as a data analyst for MU Healthcare. I think a lot of people listening are going to find that interesting that you at a young age have earned your master's degree and the fact that you're able to use and analyze data to ultimately change lives at the hospital level I thought it was fascinating. And I appreciate you hanging out with us for a little bit and diving into that a little bit more. Folks, if you listened and enjoyed this episode and feel generous, leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. We would appreciate it. iTunes, Google, whatever it is, drop us 5 stars. Let people know that you are enjoying the Final Vibe podcast, episode 8, officially in the books. Andrew, anything else to add?
I don't think so. If you haven't tried the coffee, try the coffee.
Yeah, try the coffee. Check out the website. We have a whole bunch of stuff. If you've only dived in to the podcast, there's a lot of other things that you can also experience underneath the Final Vibe name. We would love to have you. So check it all out. Until the next episode, folks, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening.
And enjoy your Tuesday.